Okay, so today we're going to learn some of the new features for online booking, and I'm not certain if some of you were our pilot group for online booking, but we have added some features including the Facebook integration, so your clients can actually go to your Facebook fan page and make appointments there. Plus we've got, it's a very mobile-friendly design now, these upgrades that we've been making in the past few months, and the dependency has increased exponentially. So we're also going to look at some of the default account settings and make sure that everything's set up properly so that your customers get the most out of their online appointments. Okay, so now if everybody has their browsers available, if you can go into the console, and that's again at console.shortcutsoftware.com. Okay, and it looks like we have a question here. So let's take a look. Does the software work on the iPhone, the iPad, and the Android apps? Yes, you can make online appointments using the mobile devices. And it's usually the format of the URL is the salon or the barbershop or the spa name.mylocalsalon.com/online booking. So now I'm actually going to log into one of the consoles, and one of my colleagues was actually nice enough to allow us to use his site, the Freddie Salon and Spa. So we're going to go into his console to see what it looks like. So now, to upload a logo, for example, you would go into Company Settings on the left side of the screen, and the company logo, this is where it would be uploaded. Now, the minimum size for a logo is actually 450 pixels here. So you can scale it down to make sure that it fits. To see what it actually looks like on the online booking page, if you go to the actual page and we have Freddie B's loaded right here, you can see what 450 pixels looks like on the browser. Now, the nice thing about this is that when you go to mobile devices, usually any images or graphics that are on the right side of the page are not present, but the logo is formatted in such a way that it appears all in one column along with the services and the categories. So let me scroll back. Oh, it looks like we have another question. The address again for the console, and let me go back. It's console.shortcutssoftware.com. Your username should be your email address, and you should hopefully have your password. If you don't have your password, we'll have to generate a new password for you, and I'll be able to message that to you privately. Okay, so console.shortcutssoftware.com. When you first log in, you're going to see a page that looks like this. So the first place we're going to, once you log into the console, is on the left side under Company Settings. So this is where the main settings are, not just for online booking, but for your presence online as well. So the first thing we want to take care of is to make sure that your customers can actually see the branding for your salon or your spa. So this is where you upload the logo. Now, a number of file formats are supported. They can be a BMP, a GIF, or a GIF, depending on your pronunciation, or a JPEG, as long as the image size itself is no wider than 450 pixels. Once you have your logo, let's say you needed the steps to do that, you would select Browse on the web page. So here's the Freddie B logo. I'm going to select it, and select Open, and just upload image. And you didn't notice any change because I just uploaded the exact same logo. Once you upload or make any changes to your company settings, or your site settings, or even your online booking settings, you want to make sure that you save. And on the top right corner of the console page is the big green checkbox to make sure you save your properties. So save often whenever you make your changes. So let's scroll down a little. Now the company name and the display name, I'm going to copy this over, What the display name refers to is what name actually shows up on the online booking page. So I'm going to switch tabs here. And again, this is the console. This is the actual online booking page. So on the top right corner here, here's our actual company name. So some locations prefer the actual .com address for their site, or just the limited or the incorporated. So whichever you want it to display as, this is where it appears. Now another thing, the theme. This is something that not every location has taken advantage of. Shortcuts is constantly adding themes for the online booking page. The default theme that you see here, this gray page with the scissors and the comb, is available to everyone as soon as they sign up for online booking. If you click on the pull-down menu, you see that we've added a number of themes since the last time most have visited. So let's say we wanted blue drops, for example. If I select this from the pull-down menu and then click Save, again on the top right corner, it makes that change in real time. So I'm going back to the online page here, and I'm going to refresh it. And the refresh icon, for most browsers, it looks like a little circle with an arrow. I'm using Internet Explorer on my site, in case you needed to know. So you notice it automatically changed the theme to correspond with blue drops. Again, that's under Company Settings, Theme. So feel free to experiment with these. Change them, save them, and refresh the web page. And just choose something that works best for your salon. So I'm going to go back to the default. I'm going to let Freddie choose which one he would prefer. I'm going to go back and refresh the page. And we're back to where we started. Now if we scroll down a little bit more on the console, you see something that says Google Global Settings, Google Analytics Tracking Number. Why is this important? This actually brings us up to the next point on the PowerPoint. So let's jump back. So what is it about Google Analytics that may be of particular interest to your salon? What this does is it actually allows you to track specific metrics, specific ways of searching for your customers. You know, who is on your web page? Who's going to your online booking page? What sites did they use to get to you? Were they on the search engine? Were they looking for hair services? Were they looking just for haircuts? How did they find your salon? And once they're there, what buttons do they click on? What pages do they spend the majority of their time on? So, of those customers, how many go to your online booking page and actually make an appointment? With analytics, you can actually track all of those details. So that portion does appear on the console. And to sign up for something like that, you actually go to google.com/analytics. So this is a service that runs through Google. What they're going to do is generate a tracking number, and you just copy and paste that onto the console. And any AdWords that would be specific to your salon, whether you specialize in keratin treatments, in hair services, they will show you how to format that so that you can have AdWords appear. Again, that's google.com/analytics. So this relates to the actual analytics on the console page itself. If you don't have that, that's fine. You can leave this blank and always return to this later. So now let's scroll down a little bit more. Oh, hold on a moment. Webinar's a little too basic. Okay. That's curious. All right. We're just going to review some of this information. So some of this may be a little bit of a basic refresher, but we're just going through some of the basic details here. So under the company settings, you do see a lot of the basic setup, and this is the language that all appears on the general online services for when you're making an appointment. So most of this rarely has to be changed. This is standard boilerplate text that you see. Anything that appears in brackets if you notice on the left side of the page, is automatically populated. So we'll actually say, Dear Steve or Dear Haley, thank you for booking with, in this case, the Freddie B Salon. We are located at, and it would automatically put in the address. Some locations don't like the word bookings, they prefer appointments or reservations. This is where you would change the language to reflect that. So that's all straightforward. So let's go ahead and continue with some of the other features. So how do AdWords work? And this is again related to the Google Analytics tracking. So specifically, what keywords will help your customers find your salon a little more easily when they're using Google, whether it's just for searches or whether it's targeted advertising that you want to appear on the page. And to get additional information on this, it's google.com/AdWords. So now let's take a look at these mobile-friendly web design. And part of this I had actually covered just a few moments ago. When we were looking at the Freddie B Salon, I mentioned that the graphics on the right side of the page do not necessarily appear on mobile devices. But everything that's on the left side directly above the service categories does appear. So whenever you're creating a presence for your online booking page, and let's switch over to the web again. There we are. You don't necessarily need to worry about any of the content that's on the right side of the web page. Everything that's on the left is the most important. However, there is something that does not load right away, and that are these steps here. In order for this service to run a little bit faster on the mobile devices, some of that language is actually cut out of the browsers. But it does look brilliant once you're on a mobile device. Again, this is supported on Android and iOS devices, both in the landscape and the portrait mode. So now, how do you book online with Facebook? So a customer that makes an appointment on the site can actually log in using Facebook instead of creating an account. To see what that looks like, let's actually go back to the Freddie B and walk through the process. So a customer goes to his webpage for online booking, and they want a haircut. Hold on, Becky has a question. All she can see is the desktop. Okay. Is that a little bit better? Can you see the desktop? Or actually, can you see the computer? Okay, sorry about that. So let me go back a step just to make sure that you did not miss a screen. Did you manage to see this slide, the one with the red hair cutters? Okay. So we're covering that any graphics on the right side do not show up on the mobile devices. And some of the language that appears under the instructions also does not load, so that it appears a lot faster on mobile devices. So now let's continue. So what does it look like when customers are making an appointment? So from the main page, we're going to choose a service, and just a men's haircut, and any employee will be fine, and we'll select next. So I'm not particular about any hours, so again I'll just select next and say, okay, there's a 10 o'clock coming up. Fine, I can make it across town. So I'll select book now. On this next portion, if it's a new customer and they want to register for the service, the next screen actually allows them to enter the important pieces of information for making a request. They'll need an email address, which will become their username. They'll create a password for themselves, and they need to leave at least one phone number. Everything else on the next screen is optional. So again, it is denoted by these asterisks, these little red stars, which ones are mandatory and everything else is optional. All of this information gets sent over to your shortcuts system. So if you needed an address, a zip code, or even an email, this is a way to capture that information from your customers. Well, let's go back a screen. So customers now have the ability to log in using Facebook. it'll actually put a little app on their Facebook that allows them to remember their username and their password, and they can make appointments from online. So if you click on it, you get a pop-up window. So this is where you would actually log into Facebook and have a plugin added to your account, your Facebook profile. So let's go back to our presentation. So that's from the customer side. From the salon side, you can also add an app to your dashboard so that customers can select online booking right from your Facebook page. Has anybody gotten a chance to set that up on their Facebook? Does anybody need to be walked through the process? Okay, I have a question. The problem I am running into is that they are already in the system and they are creating double names in the computer. Okay, when something like that happens, you have the ability to merge the clients. The very first time that a customer makes an appointment online, it sends that customer's name, phone number, and other contact details directly to Shortcuts. The thing is, Shortcuts is not sure if this is a salon regular or a brand new client. But when they make their appointment, they give you the ability to merge that client with one that's already existing on your client list. So it'll come up when you confirm that customer. It'll ask, is this a new client, and do you want me to keep the details, or do you want me to merge this client? And if you recognize the name and you recognize the telephone number, then in the center of the screen, you're going to see the actual customer that you have on your own client list. If it matches up, then you select your customer and select merge. The next time that customer makes an appointment online, it's going to automatically populate to Shortcuts, and Shortcuts will know this is the same customer. I don't have to create a duplicate for them. Does that make sense? Okay. So I believe we had another question. So how do you add a link to the Facebook page? Okay, so let's actually walk through that. So from Facebook, and I'm actually going to give you a few moments to actually go to Facebook, and I'm going to load it on my side here. I'm going to open a new tab. So Facebook.com. So those that need help setting it up, go ahead and log into your Facebook profile right now. Now, I'm not going to log in because I don't actually have a salon that I can add it to, but I can still walk you through the process. I did take some screenshots. Once you're logged in, on the left side of the page, usually you log in with your own username and password, and it's your personal page. On the left side, you see a list of pages that you're subscribed to or the administrator of. So you would select your own salon. And then on the next window, you get a list of apps that look similar to this. On the right side of the list is this little pull-down arrow that allows you to browse for more apps or find more apps. So let's go to the next page. So we actually want to search for an app called Shortcuts Online Booking. Now I'm actually going to copy that URL and paste it into the question block so that if you have difficulty finding the application, then you can just enter it, you can just copy and paste it onto your own Facebook page. So let me switch browsers again, and I'll log into my own personal one. And then search for people, places, and things. I'll search for Shortcuts Online Booking. So you can see that I visited recently. Shortcuts Online Booking. So at the very top, this URL, I'm going to copy it and put it on the question block. It's apps.facebook.com/online BookME. Let me send to all. So / online BookMe / just entering that portion should actually get you to this link that allows you to add online booking to your page. And it's going to ask you, once you click on this, what page do you want it to add on to? Do you want it on your personal page, or do you want it on your salon page? So you'll actually see a pull-down menu that has them. And I have that screenshot here. So choose Facebook pages. So either your personal page or your salon page. Once you do that, you're going to see a link that says online booking on your actual Facebook page. So when you click on that online booking link, and I'm going to give you a few moments just to make sure that it comes up on your screen. When you click on it, it asks you, what is your host header? And again, your host header is only the first portion of your online booking page. So in this case, if I were to use, again, the Freddie D Salon as an example, his host header is, at the very beginning here, Freddie D Salon and Spa. So this is the only portion that you have to enter. You do not have to enter .mylocalsalon.com / online booking. Just the beginning portion of your salon name. So once you set that as the host header, then the application becomes live. And on your actual Facebook page, customers will be able to click on that link for online booking, and the same page that you see on the website would load as an applet in Facebook. Is everybody able to do that? Is anybody having any difficulty adding that link to their Facebook page? And again, these were the steps. Search for the application, add the link to your web page, select which page it's going to, and put in your host header. Okay, if there are no errors with that, we're going to continue. Alright. So by now, you should have an understanding of configuring the services dependency. So how they're related between what you see on the console and what you see on the web page. How Facebook login works and how the mobile is integrated. And now we're actually going to take a look at online booking reporting. So to do that, we're going to go back to the console. So let's jump back. And we're going back to the main console page. To reach that from the company settings, we select the Start button on the top left corner. So again, we're back on the company settings. Now the third row here, the third box in the center, the BookMe settings, if we select that, on the right side, oh, somebody has a question. I put it through, and next to the salon line, it says offline. Is that right? That's a possibility. Is your computer running shortcuts right now? And if it is, there might be an error synchronizing with the shortcuts communication server. So yeah, if you do get a message that it's offline, there's possibly an error connecting with shortcuts. We can review that in just a moment. If you're in front of your actual server computer though, if anybody is having difficulty seeing their online booking where it says offline, if you click on the bottom right corner of the Windows taskbar, you'll see the Shortcuts Communication Server icon. It looks like a little star with little colors on it. If you right-click on it, you can bring up the Shortcuts Service Manager. So if anything comes up with red X's, or just one or two of the services are in red X's, then it might not be synchronizing properly. At which case, you might want to contact the service desk right away, and we can take a look and find out why this is happening. But it looks like I have another question. My Facebook is connected to the online booking. when I go through booking and get to the login page on the online booking, I click on Facebook, and it doesn't go anymore. In that instance, you might have a pop-up blocker enabled on your system, so make sure that you're not being blocked from having the Facebook link pop up. If you have a Google plugin on your web browser, I've seen this on Google Chrome, I've seen this on Firefox, and I've seen this on Internet Explorer. Google Chrome has the Google plugin has a separate pop-up blocker than the actual browser pop-up blocker. So make sure both of those are enabling or allowed to have Facebook pop-ups appear. Oh, somebody did not catch that last portion. All right, now, one of our clients can't hear me. Alcanta, can you hear me? Oh, it's Alfie. Can you hear me? Oh. Using Google Chrome, so maybe that is okay. Yeah, and Google Chrome has been a little difficult with pop-ups, especially from Facebook, so you might want to try it on Internet Explorer instead. Okay. Once we get it running, to see how it's actually performing in the console, and again I'll repeat, from the console, if you click on the box in the center of the screen, it says BookMe Settings. On the right side, you have two options here. So BookMe Scorecard and Display BookMe Settings. So I'm going to select the actual scorecard. And this shows you how the online booking is performing. Now for Freddie B, some of the things are down, and I guess we're going to talk to Freddie about that. And some of the things are holding steady, his visits, but his online bookings are very good. So let's just scroll down so you can actually see what the value is for online booking for the Freddie B salon. So last year, you started using the service in November. So from year to year, it's been going up. The number of bookings he's made online just in the year, what the percentage is or what the numbers are of customers making appointments outside of the usual business hours. What's the value of all of these online bookings? So everybody should have access to this once you log into the console. If for whatever reason none of these fields, none of these tiles are loading, contact the service desk right away. There may be an error with your reporting agent. But if you do have these tiles appearing, then you can review all of the individual details. So I'm going to go back to the Start and to the BookMe settings. And you can select Display the BookMe bookings. So if you want to see how it's performing just for a specific date range, in this case, for the past month, I can enter that, and it'll tell you how many bookings did we have? What was the total value of these bookings? And then it'll even give you a breakdown for the particular clients and their appointments. So this is a pretty robust reporting system for individual services. Okay. And again, that's in the center of the console. It's very difficult to miss. Okay, so we covered that, how the Google Global Settings works. So if you're interested in tracking the metrics of your customers, seeing how much time they're spending on your web page, as well as the online booking page, and how many are actually making appointments, you might want to look into the Google Analytics and the Google AdWords. They're very useful services. And also we talked about how to integrate online booking with Facebook. So that about wraps up this current webinar. So we do have some future webinars coming up. And you can see that on the 26th of May is our next one. And we do have a YouTube channel that is going to include this presentation as well as all of our previous webinars. All right, now we do have a special this month, and it's still ongoing even though we're coming to the end of April. We have a free hardware upgrade, testing and configuration, for both the Lenovo All-in-One or the Lenovo Tiny. Super small, you can see how big it is compared to a hairbrush. Both systems come with warranties and, of course, a 12-month payment plan. So, these are pretty nice computers. I don't know if you've seen the touchscreen ones. They're really pretty. They take a small footprint, something you might consider investing into. So now, we have a few minutes for questions and answers. Does anybody sitting in have any additional questions or want me to go back and review certain steps? Go ahead and we have some time now. Sorry, but how do I find my page? Jeff, are you trying to get free publicity for Daddy's Barbershop? Is this for Facebook or for just the actual webpage? The actual, okay. So in the case of Jeff, now I'm familiar with his barbershop. So if you were to do just a Google search for Daddy's Barbershop, it would queue that up. Of course, not Goggle, Google.com. There, so. So Daddy's Barbershop in San Francisco. But how do you find his online booking page? So it's important that once you have an online booking page, that you add a link and you make it prominent on your actual web page. So this is something that Jeff or Jeff's webmaster is going to have to do. Daddy's actual online booking page, and again, this is related to the host header. So his URL or his host header should be daddysbarbershop.mylocalsalon.com/online booking. And there it is. So right now, his computer is offline, so we might want to check those shortcut server settings, make sure that his services are enabled, make sure that his computer is online, and then this information would be available. What categories he has, what employees are available. So I'm going to copy this address, and I'm going to send it to Jeff so that he can make sure it gets on his actual web page. Paste. Okay, so again, for anybody else, the host header is usually your company name, and the rest is .mylocalsalon.com/online booking. You don't have to worry about the rest of this. This will be populated automatically as soon as you get to the web page. So it's very important that you have a link and make it prominent on the Freddie D Salon. It's right on his front page, right near the top. Book your visit online. As soon as somebody clicks on it, you're right into his actual online booking page. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? I'm going to go back to my history to make sure. Okay. How do we go, and it looks like Becky has a question, how do we go about getting our username and password for the website to manage online marketing? For Becky, is this related to the set and forget online marketing, or is it for the online booking? Online booking. You should have a console account, and that's, again, at console.shortcutsoftware.com. It'll ask for a username. The username is usually your email address, and the password is a randomly generated password that's provided to you, and then we have you change it to whatever you'd like. If you don't have it, though, then I'll give you my contact information, and we can speak after this webinar, and I'll help you reset that. Okay? And now, Victoria has another question. Please review the first step to add the online booking to the Facebook page. Okay, so let's just go back and look at that again. So from Facebook, and we'll go to our actual Facebook page again. And here we go. So once you're in Facebook, on the left side, you'll see a list of pages you have access to. In this case, this is my personal page. and on the left. So you'll see groups and you'll see pages. You click on the page that's for your salon. And then once you're there, you'll have the ability to add an app. And the app appears in the center of the screen. And shortcuts on my booking. Okay, so Victoria, are you logged into Facebook right now? Okay, once you're on the admin page, if you scroll down a little, you'll see a series of boxes that appears on the page. And I'm going to copy the URL again. So in this scenario, I'm going to go to a page that I have. And I'm going to scroll down. So this is like the admin page, similar to yours. You see a list of apps near the top. There's going to be a pull-down menu on the right side that has blank squares. Each of these squares represents an additional application that you can have on Facebook. When you click the plus button, it says, gives you the ability to add videos, notes, or find more apps. In this case, we're going to find more apps. And I actually have, rather than searching for it, I actually have the URL, and I'll just paste it again. So I'm going to put it on the message screen here. Paste. So again, the URL, I'll put it at the top of the screen, is apps.facebook.com/online BookMe. So once you add that, you see this link. When you click on it, it will ask you, which page do you want to put it on? Your personal page or your salon page? So you want to choose your salon page and select Add Page tab. Once it's added, you have to click on it because it's going to ask you, what is your online host header? And again, that host header is usually the company name and only the company name. So in the case of the Freddie B Salon, it was Freddie B Salon, and that was it. We just set host header as Freddie B Salon, and the rest of it populated automatically. And for Daddy's Barbershop, it was Daddy's Barbershop, and that was it. That was his host header. And it automatically fills in the rest. Okay. So it looks like Victoria was able to get that running on her Facebook page. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions regarding this, or a repeat of any of the other steps? Okay. It looks like everybody's okay with this. Okay, now here's my contact information if we need to follow up with how do we reset a password, how do we get access to our host header, what was the link. Oh, Becky has a question. What is the YouTube site to pull the previous webinars? All right, let's jump back a couple of screens. It's youtube.com/shortcutsusa. So this video will also be available on that page. So let me actually write this down. Okay. So we're going to go back to my contact information. Now, I might not always be available on the phone, but if you send me an email, I should be able to reply to you. And I know this is a name and a half. So I'll give you a moment to go ahead and write this down. Now, the phone number at the bottom of the screen is our main line. If you need to get in contact with me, go ahead and send me an email, and I'll reply with my direct line. And that way, in case somebody's trolling the YouTube pages, I'm not putting my direct line in there just so they can start scamming people or scamming me directly at my work. Okay, does anybody have any other questions before we wrap this up? Going once, going twice. Okay, then. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, you have my contact information. So I will be available for a few minutes after this before my next appointment, so I can probably reply to any emails right away. So let me disconnect. And thank you for being such a patient audience with me. I hope I didn't bumble through my very first webinar too badly. Have a great day.